say hello.
Yeah.
All right, you got the floor.
What is going on, F3 the Union? Day after Thanksgiving here for episode number 2 of State of the Union. Super excited. As always, as your host, we have Shrink and Jenna. Jenna also acting as producer. Special guest today would be Deep Dish, him of the month. He is him. I am just going to be on here real quick to drop the 29 seconds with the Nantan, but excited to hear what these guys have in store for you. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving and looking forward to posting with you guys again in the gloom shortly. So 29 seconds with the Nantan. I did not practice this. So again, we'll have to set our watches, see how close I get. What was I, like 2 seconds over last time?
You're pretty dead on.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. So we just finished up Thanksgiving, and I thought the topic of hunger would be appropriate. We are hungry people. We are motivated by what we buy, what we eat, and what fun activity awaits next. There's an urgency to all of it. What if we transferred that energy into a holy hunger, though? What if instead we were passionate about sharing the gospel, telling our community and our neighbors the story of Christ? I'm the first to tell everyone and encourage everyone to EH guys to F3. That's because I truly believe in F3 and the changes that it can make to men's lives. But what if we were EHing for heaven so that we could all have an epic beatdown inside the holy gates? I'll be doing J-Lo's with JC. Are you guys coming with me?
It would be J-Lo's. It's funny because
What
I
was
feel
my
like
time?
I feel like I'm in hell when I'm doing those, so I don't know.
What was my time?
It's 30
45:67.
No way. I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
It was
I
good.
got
It was good.
You just got a lot to say, man.
Yeah.
So up next, we have got some announcements for the Union, the State of the Union, State of the Union. Here's some new things going on out in Marysville, Richwood, and the surrounding areas. The first one here, Jenna, is an exciting one.
Do tell.
Exciting one that involves our very own Ricky Bobby.
Oh,
and our
yes.
very own Muddiest of Waters. So our man Muddy Waters is going to be launching a brand new AO out in the Richwood area. I believe it's going to be a ruck.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a Thursday ruck?
Yes, and I do recall there is a anomaly with the start time to make more room for coffee afterwards, since the Richwood guys are notoriously long on their fireside chats.
Yeah, this is going to be a Thursday only ruck AO, 5:15 a.m. to 6 a.m. with the pre-launches being Thursday, November 30th and Thursday, December 7th, which puts the official launch at Thursday, December 14th, 2023. So get that on your schedules to be there for the launch of a new AO out in the Richwood area. It'll be at the Richwood Fairgrounds. And my understanding is that the name of this new AO is likely to be The Show.
Welcome to the show.
I love that. Yeah, man, the Richwood guys have been killing it.
Yeah. I mean, I need to get up there more often. It seems like just a great group of guys who all do an awesome job fellowshipping with each other and pushing each other. So it's a really great addition to the Union in general. Just wish we were a little closer, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Expansion is a very cool thing. I've not been out there at all myself. I was scheduled to cue one of the first, somewhere early on, one of the beatdowns, but wasn't able to make it out. And I think Ricky Bobby or somebody picked it up for me. So I'll make it a goal, though, to get out there hopefully before the end of the year.
You and that Cusack. Sheesh.
And we had, speaking of Cusacks, we had a near Cusack yesterday.
I saw that.
Thanksgiving morning.
Oh, yeah, I saw Ricky Bobby just said, "I'll be at the yard." It's like, all right. The floor
So
got covered, so it all worked
you,
out.
you're actually, so you're talking about Ricky Bobby and Soccer Mom at the
The
floor.
floor, right? Was
I'm
there an
talking
additional
about
one?
I'm talking about Uniball at the factory on Thanksgiving morning.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So it's 5:27, 5:28. I roll up. Alice is there. Playdate rolls up. We get out of our car. It's 5:29, and then it's 5:30, and he is nowhere to be seen. And he's not usually late, and so we just got rolling. And then come 5:33 and a half, literally screeching the tires on his conversion van,
In the van.
peeling into the parking lot. He pulls over and he drives up. He pulls over near where we usually plant the flag. He hops out and goes, "Y'all get started yet?" And then he pulls open the back van doors, the two doors, and he has essentially his entire home gym packed into his van. And so he pulls out the barbell, the bumper weights, his Bowflex adjustable weights, the bench, and we went to town on buys and tries on Turkey Day morning.
So he was definitely running late because he had all the toys he wanted to bring with him, right?
Correct. Now he claims he was there at 5:25, realized he forgot the flag, went back home
Uh
to get it, and then posted that on Slack. I question it though, and I also now have a new plan. If I'm ever late, I'm just gonna post. I was actually there at 5:15. Nobody was there. I had to run home to grab something. I'm heading back now though.
so who did you all figure out who was gonna pick up the queue? Did you nominate somebody in that like
Uh,
interim?
we did this really awkward thing where it was like, so if he doesn't come, anybody have something? And our first thought actually was Playdate. He suggested that he had 2 bags of potatoes that needed skinned at home.
That would
And
do it.
so we get some forearm
Yeah.
work in with that. I suggested Waffle House. And so yeah, we would have had it covered if he wouldn't have shown up. We'd have been
Waffle House is an exercise in fortitude. It's
good.
it's a different kind of workout.
It is like quite literal intestinal
Yeah.
fortitude,
Getting
without a
back to the
doubt.
constipation matters.
All right. Do you see a next announcement here? If not, I'll keep rolling through what I see.
Um, Kings of the Gloom upcoming.
Things
We're gonna
of
be in the thick of it here in just a minute.
Yeah, man. Well, how about you? Tell us about your experience last year, Kings of the Gloom.
Oh my god, it was a love-hate relationship. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I loved that it opened up the world of pre-work and accountability on a more consistent basis.
Yeah.
Um, I also hated the fact that I was in the driving snow, uh, standing in a parking lot at 5:30. But that's also part of the love as well. I have a
Sure.
vivid memory of I think it was like 6 of us showed up for this LJ beatdown at the farm, and we were just standing there, and we had to like clear out part of the parking lot for us to lay in, and do crunches and
I
stuff
love it.
because it was just covered in snow.
But
And
tell me that that's not like playoff football though, where the placeholder has to come out and he has to clear the spot for the kicker to get the ball down. I mean that must feel good though.
yeah, it was very self-important for me.
Yeah.
But no, F3 continues to establish itself as a way to get me to do things that are good for me that I would absolutely never do otherwise.
Yeah.
And that's just one example.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. So Kings of the Gloom is a way that Jenna, as you were saying, a way that we try to incentivize and motivate men to continue acceleration even through the month where it's easiest just to lay off the gas pedal, to pack on some weight, to drink a few more beers, sleep in, and do a whole lot of nothing. So during that time, rather than letting gravity have its way with you, why not challenge yourself to keep moving forward, to keep making progress? And so, to those that are interested, go ahead and HC to the Kings of the Gloom post and Mumble Chatter. We will place every PAX onto a team of 3 or 4 total guys, and then you'll earn points throughout each month for first F, second F, and third F activities, which will be coming out the end of this week here. It is Friday, so maybe the beginning of next week coming out. And each month we'll have a winner, and that winning team will get to lead a beat down from hell towards the beginning of the following month. And then we'll see if any team can repeat or three-peat during the months of December, January, February. Actually, there will be no chances for repeats because we're going to mix up teams slightly. Which was actually some feedback from last year, was that it was tough because if you were expecting a child, if you had some serious life stuff go on, people were concerned that they would be on a team but then wouldn't be able to pull their weight. And so each month, people will get a chance to re-up or to tap out. So there's no pressure that you have to be part of it all 3 months. And that is Kings of the Gloom coming up soon. The other piece that I wanted to mention, and this might be our last general announcement unless you see something here, Janae. And this is more of just some culture setting for us around the idea of, again, we have a mission, we have a purpose, we have a credo. Those are things that most of the guys know, right? So our mission and purpose: to plant, grow, and serve small workout groups for men for the invigoration of male community leadership. As an aside, somewhere along the way, people began saying for the reinvigoration. There's no re.
Okay, hold on.
No
Hold on.
re. Just the invigoration.
This is what I was told, is that it appears both ways in 2 separate places. You have the book and the website, and it shows up differently. I can neither confirm nor deny that. I'm just saying that's the rationale I had been given.
That sounds like somebody who was trying some CYA. It's like they won't look it up.
It was Uniball. So
That's about right. He's a pastor. Pastors and sources, right? They use different translations of the Bible. Well,
different translation of Q source.
Find the right translation. And he was reading the Uniball version of the Q source, which says reinvigoration. There's no re. There's the ongoing, the invigoration of male community leadership. Our culture, though, out here in the Union, is what's unique to us, and that is encouraging gritty fun. And so, with culture setting, some encouragement that we wanted to give to the PAX when it comes to leading workouts is they don't have to be complex. Don't have to be complex. Don't have to even be cute. They can just be gritty. Right? They can just be hard workouts. You can lead guys in 20 burpees, run half a mile, do 50 Merkins, run half a mile, do 100 squats, run a mile. The purpose is to challenge ourselves to lead and to give others opportunity to continue their fitness acceleration. Does not need to be a complex workout. Does not need to be anything fancy. You don't need to have any acronyms. You don't need to have a geo level. Each letter of the alphabet
Pies.
have a workout. If you can, by all means, rock that thing out. But we want to make sure that the men here understand that that is not the expectation, and that should never be a reason you choose not to put your name on that cue sheet, is because you're worried you can't come up with something unique or complex enough. So just make it hard, and we'll show up.
Yeah, I would say if you even just show up and push yourself for 45 minutes and expect the other guys around you to just keep up with what you're doing yourself, that's all a workout any of us need, you know? As long as we're putting a continual effort out and we're with a group of guys who are trying to get better, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, 100%. Some other things just to get on people's radars here. We're going to have a diaper dash coming likely mid-December to January. If you've not yet been part of Diaper Dash, please come out. It's always a good time. More info on that coming out soon. Social media, Deep Dish and I run most of that stuff. If you see a post, just give it a like, man. Give it give it a like. If you comment on it, something controversial, and get some more people engaging with
Mm,
it, that'll up our metrics.
drive that
So,
engagement.
I mean, if you could do that, like that'd be pretty sick. Uh, so that's all that we've got here. I believe, yeah, that's all I've got from announcements. You see anything else we need to go over?
There's been whispers that Deep Dish for our second half event next month, December, will be hosting in his studio, which I've heard is a
Ooh,
really cool spot. They're gonna have some football up. It should be a pretty good venue to mingle and have a good time. I wanted to also highlight the success of the tailgate for all of
yeah,
those who did show up. I had an awesome time, and I think
time.
definitely going to plan on annualizing this to some degree. So look for that next year.
100%. Yeah, if you missed the tailgate, yeah, be there next year because Bootleg, one of the Columbus guys, he and his team from Southern Glacier, they put on a solid tailgate.
Money,
Yeah,
money,
all
classy, classy too.
yeah,
Take
that's
take
great.
your wife. Take the M.
She'd be impressed, right?
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah,
I know it sounds like I'm being sarcastic. I am
he's
speaking in
not.
all earnest. It's very nice.
Yeah, they had both cold drinks and warm drinks. Even they had separate cups for the warm drinks. They had ice for the ice. There was a scoop, like I'm talking a tailgate, and they had a scoop for ice.
Beautiful.
There was a oh, what did they call it? What did they call it? Oh man, the word is not mezzanine. That's not the word. But
I
like
don't know.
this might have been established
Mennonite.
but they essentially, this tailgate is so legit that they have a mezzanine. We're just calling it a mezzanine. They've they've erected the tents in such a way that they leave the middle
Oh
open
my gosh. No.
to allow the sun to come in just in the middle, but then you can be out of the sun as well. It's, I mean, ideal, top notch. And we got to find what was this word?
I atrium.
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 Atrium. So you listen, guys. You go tell your M's. Hey, listen. Next season, we're going to a tailgate with an atrium and ice scoops.
First and foremost, ice scoops. And they got
Yeah,
some.
do that.
They got a buffet. It's all very nice.
Oh yeah, all the
Um,
food, all the drink. All right, some final rapid fire announcements here. The trash pickup beatdown we had last week with VP was a success. And so we're going to likely run something like that back again and do another trash pickup in December. LJ, our first FQ, is going to revamp some of our quarterly fitness testing. So when you see that info come out in January, be sure to HC to that workout and go set your baseline for the year. Um, Someone, either VP and or Bernie, and I said Bernie's name so that he feels guilted into doing this now. Someone is likely to be leading a 52-week Bible challenge for us starting in the new year. And also in January, for those of you who are wondering why Ricky Bobby was trying to find a paramedic, this is because he has a CSOP planned that involves a polar plunge. And when he first explained to me why he needed a medic, I was like, "What do you need a medic for? Just jumping in water." And then I Googled it. And it turns out some people have died jumping in cold water. So that's a reason why you should do it and why we should probably find a medic.
Absolutely. And added on to that, we are going to have the first ever F3 Oscars and or Dundies for our
Oh,
office
yeah.
fans. So be a time to get together, celebrate one another, and laugh at each other while potentially getting small plastic trophies. I don't know. I don't know the format of this yet, but at the very least, um, I'm going to be slightly embarrassed. So show up for that when we have more info.
It'll be fun. I suspect we'll probably do that at the
Uh,
Valentine's dinner.
that's what I was thinking. Probably I think that was the intent. Is the
Yeah,
Valentine's Day.
yeah.
So yeah, show up on Valentine's Day so I can get made fun of in front of my wife, and you can get made fun of in front of yours.
Which is a win.
That's always a win.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. My wife lives for moments where I've made a mistake, where I've failed, or I've been embarrassed. She can't get enough of it.
I think it's because it normalizes us, right? We sit up on such a high pedestal as men. Um,
Correct.
it's nice to know that we're human.
It is. They really appreciate that. They really do. They really do. Make sure that your wives don't listen to this part of the podcast. They won't like us as much anymore.
I'll cut it to the
Yeah,
end. no one,
middle of okay.
no one listens to the
Middle.
end, anyways, right?
Right in the middle. All right, Jenny. Those are the announcements. Now we get to have some more fun. What are our segments this month? All right. Up next, our interview with the current and reigning high impact man of the month, the one, the only Deep Dish.
What's going on, guys?
Hey man, we're happy to have you join us. We hear you are in your in-laws driveway.
I am. Yeah. My plan was to do this at my nice, warm, and cozy studio. Instead, I'm freezing my butt off out in the driveway. Just change of plans, adaptability.
I thought maybe you had a mobile studio.
No, not it.
And I think I even heard Deep Dish from you or someone that you have got some sort of connection or are working with some guys that are doing an OSU or a Big Ten podcast or video series, something like that.
Yeah. So over at the studio that I own with the other guys that run the business, we just picked up this cool new client. So we got an inquiry about a podcast that needed a place to be produced at, host at, and they hired us to do all of it. So hey, we want to host the podcast from your studio. We want you guys to produce the podcast at your studio. And we were like, yeah, that's cool. This is expensive because it's a huge time commitment, and they wanted to be here on a weekly basis. So we pitched the number, and they didn't even flinch. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. This sounds like a great opportunity. And then lo and behold, the first meeting here comes to Ohio State Buckeyes. Cardell Jones was one of them, and I can't remember the other one because I'm really bad at names. But I remember Cardell because I think seeing him was kind of a weird moment for me because watching the Ohio State Buckeyes go for that national championship when he was the quarterback was
Yeah.
the moment into football. I was like, okay, this is exciting. This is a great underdog story, and I love it. And that's when I actually put the time into understanding football. So I told him that, and it was a cool time.
Awesome.
I heard
Very
he's like
cool.
20 feet tall. Is that true?
He is huge.
Yep.
He is huge.
That's awesome
Yeah.
that he's in there with the
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to try to get you in a studio or us in your studio eventually.
Yeah,
But
eventually,
for the
that'll be a
time
little
being,
fun.
we got all of us in homes and or in-laws driveways.
That's right.
All right. So Deep Dish, let's hop in the same place where we hop in with most guys, which is letting us know your F3 name and where it came from.
My F3 name, Deep Dish. All right, so during the Circle of Trust and in my naming ceremony, um, I was asked to share an embarrassing story. But well, before I got to the embarrassing story, I was asked to share where I met my wife, and I met my wife at Pizza Hut. She was leading a Bible study, and I was new to town. I didn't know anybody. I hardly spoke any English, and I needed friends. So I just showed up to this Bible study because I figured Christian people were accepting people. And yeah, she accepted me to the degree that she married me. So win. And that's how we met. So somebody shouted Deep Dish, and I can't even remember who named me Deep Dish, but yeah, that's how it stuck. Which it ended up like playing out in my favor because if I had gotten to my embarrassing story, my name would have been Pepto Bismol. So yeah.
Yeah. Why is that?
So when I first moved here, so I moved here in 2009, and I was 19, and I didn't speak English. So I learned English when I moved to the States. And a couple of years into it, I was working at this logistics company, or no, it was a credit card processing company, and I was feeling pretty sick that day. I wasn't feeling right, and I had gone about telling people that I was not feeling well. So my girlfriend at the time, well, my then girlfriend, my now wife, she calls me and she said, "Hey, how are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm not feeling too great." She's like, "Well, what's wrong?" And I said, "You know, I feel really constipated." And she kind of gets quiet. And she's like, "Wait, are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure I'm constipated." And she was, of course, she kind of like takes it back and she's like, we just started dating, and I'm sitting here in the break room. There's a guy sitting across from me at a table there, and I'm telling my girlfriend that I'm constipated. And she said, I don't think you understand. She's like, "What do you mean? What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, I can't breathe out of my nose." And she's like, "Oh," starts laughing, and I'm getting annoyed. And she's like, "Honey, you're congested. You're congested, not constipated." And I'm like, "Oh no." So I accurately had to go back and tell everyone at the office who I have told at that point that I was constipated, that I was in fact not constipated, I was congested. So yeah, I shared that at one of the PAX get together. I think it was the 4th of July. And so I think Bluey told me that, or no, midriff. This is, you could have easily been Pepto Bismol. It's probably a good thing that you didn't make it to that story. So
How many
that's
people
why.
did you manage to tell you were constipated before there was an end put to this?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea.
How many people didn't
So
know?
so many people at the office knew, and then I was the guy that was oversharing
Yeah,
my
Uh-huh.
conditions.
I would say so.
So
Uh-huh. Real
yeah, and
fast.
I have like that wasn't even like the only thing. My English stories are just so bad. So as I was learning, I remember going to McDonald's, like working up the courage to go to McDonald's for the first time, and making it through the drive-through and asking for a McChicken and a fry. I've heard my dad order that a million times, so I was like, "I'm a chicken and a fry. I'm a chicken and a fry. I'm a chicken and a fry. I can do this." So I go, and the worst thing that could happen happened to me that day. The lady, the teller, the person running the show, she goes, what can I get you?" And I said, "I'm like chicken and a fry." And then the worst thing, she asked me another question. And I was like, this is all I had rehearsed was the McChicken and the fry. And she goes, "What size fry do you want?" And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. In my mind, I'm thinking, I'm doing all kinds of math, figuring out the answer to this, because in my mind, she's asking me the size and length of the fries, the actual
Ah.
French fries.
Yeah.
So it's like, how big are your big fries? And she started laughing at me through the intercoms. I just drove away. Didn't get back to
Oh
McDonald's
no!
after that. It was terrible.
Said I'm
Um,
out of here,
Oh.
man.
yeah, dude, that was not even the worst. I'll tell you one more. I was pretty bummed out when I first moved here. I needed community, and my dad was like, "I'll take you to church. You want to go to church?" He takes me to this Baptist church that he knew. I go in to talk to the pastor, and it's snowing like crazy outside. I'm freezing, and I walk into his office. He shakes my hand. He was like, "Oh man, this weather, huh? You're probably not used to this weather." And I was like, "No, no, I'm used to hot weather and bitches." And
Oh
he
my
just like his face just like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, hot. That's what I like, hot weather and bitches." Then and dude, like for like 2 years went by. I meet my wife and I told her, I was like, "Oh, I know that pastor. Like he just got really mad at me because I told him this." And she's like, "Oh, you mean beaches?" And I'm like, at that moment, I had that realization of like, I've been telling this to people for 2 years. Yeah,
I thought he
and
was
and
just a
you've been
chill
telling the
dude.
story as though he's the unreasonable one. Like there's
yeah,
this pastor who's
absolutely. I was
just
like,
really judgmental and he
yeah,
hates nice weather.
yeah, turn me off from the whole Baptist community. I should probably tell Unable that it's like, can't go to your church, bro.
find out how he feels about hot weather and beaches.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I think Uniball would like a good beach.
Yeah. I mean, he's
He
always
dresses
rocking
like
the
he's going to the
sleeveless,
beach.
right? Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, man. Those are some impressive stories, man. Wow.
Oh man,
Yeah,
and it's so much that just like barely scratches the surface of the kind of crap I got into just because of my English.
I couldn't imagine
yeah,
having to learn a second language and then like continually pretty much embarrass myself and have misunderstandings with people on an ongoing basis. That sounds like
Yeah.
horrifying. So you're a strong man for dealing with all that.
yeah, yeah.
I
And
still
it's
do that sometimes. Like I still just use that as an excuse. To be honest, I'm not ashamed of it. Just like if I messed up badly when I'm saying something, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have said that. Oh, I'm sorry. English is not my first language. I didn't mean to say that. Yep.
you do have the eternal out, right, of
Yep.
it not being your first language there.
Right.
To think about what Jenny was saying though about how much strength that takes. We mentioned being 19, and that was when you made the move from Nicaragua to the U.S. Is
Yep.
that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you could, man, tell us a bit about like what was that transition like for you personally, emotionally, spiritually?
Yeah.
Like just walk us through some of that.
So it was pretty crazy. My dad. So how I ended up here is my dad applied for me to come in, to come to the States, and he left home when I was 7. So from 7 to the age of 19, I saw my dad once a year, maybe twice if he was in town. And
Wow.
during that time that he was in town, I would maybe see him a couple days a week, out of the week that he would come and spend it there at the time there. So we had like an on and off kind of relationship. I was like more of a checkbox that he was checking. He was invested to the degree that he would call in and check on me. But that was pretty much it. He wasn't the most involved father. He wasn't really a good role model anyways to begin with, from even before he left. But after I moved here, I ended up here because he made a promise to my grandma that he would bring me here. My grandma was dying. This is a deathbed promise. And my dad, super superstitious guy. He's not just a little stitious, he's
He's
superstitious.
superstitious.
Yeah. So he sees this as in like this is a problem. I have to live up to this. So he ends up bringing me to the States. Once I come here, I'm 19 years old. I had been saved, for a few years at that point. I had been maybe not saved, but I believed in God. My journey had begun at that point, and a lot of um, my upbringing was shaped by my mother, my grandmother. Um, a couple of soccer coaches were really influential to me. So my dad had very little to do with that. So by the time I move here, I'm this person that he doesn't recognize. And I'm
Mm,
19. He's trying to make me into the person that he wants me to be, and it's just not working out. So we're butting heads a lot. We don't have the greatest start to a relationship here, and he ends up kicking me out. So he kicks me out. He's like, "Hey, you have to figure something out. I can have you here." Like, and it was a multitude of issues. So he was very controlling, and in the sense of just every Hispanic dad is just how it is in our culture. Like every Hispanic dad is kind of the patriarch of the bunch, and he kind of runs the show. And if you give any pushback, then you find yourself on the bad side of bad. So
mm, yeah.
with him, he gave me a car, he gave me a place to stay, and he would say things like, you have to be home by 9. And if I was home by like 9:05, that was a problem. That was a huge disrespectful thing for him.
Hmm.
Um, and that like all those like little things kind of spiral out of control. And ultimately, I just kind of told him, I was like, hey, like you can't continue to treat me like this. This is wrong. He lost his cool, kicked me out. So I
And is
ended
this
up
in
going.
Ohio at the time, or is this
This is
somewhere
in
else?
Ohio. Yep, this is
Okay.
in Ohio. Everything's happening in Marysville, Ohio.
Oh
So
wow. All right.
yeah, so I ended up moving out. I had to now save enough money to get a job and a junker from Craigslist because she took my car away. And I moved into this apartment, get a $3,000 car from Craigslist, and I had my job. So I'm kind of like scraping by, trying to make it happen. My my then girlfriend, my now wife. We were dating at the time. She's kind of helping me through it. Um, and about 2 weeks after I bought the car, my car breaks down. And then I come to find out that they sold me a bad car with a bad transmission, that they just kind of like
Oh,
got it to the point
yeah.
where it's just kind of limping along so they could sell it.
Gosh.
So that caused me to lose my job, which caused me to lose my apartment. So before I knew it, I ended up homeless, and I was in a homeless kind of scenario, between 3 to 6 months off and on. I would,
Wow. So just to recap
yeah,
though, so you moved here at 19, right?
yep,
Moved in with dad for how long?
about a year.
Dad for a year. Things aren't going great with you and dad.
Hmm.
And so he says, "Hey, you got to get to going."
Yep.
And so you save up some money. You're working where at the time?
A credit card process in place. It
Okay.
was like a cash checking loan place. It was what it was. It was like
Okay.
not even the best job situation. It was
All
sketchy
right.
location to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you're working this job. You're living in Marysville. Been in the States for a year. You're still in the process of
Hmm.
learning English. Dad
Yep.
tells you to move out. You save up enough to buy a junker car off Craigslist. You buy the
Hmm.
car, you move out, and then a few months later, car breaks down, which leads to losing the
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later, the
Two
car
weeks later.
breaks down. Yeah.
That's tough.
And then about a month after that, I get evicted from my apartment, lost the apartment. And then I was a walking country song, dude. Like all I had left in my name was my mattress and my guitar. I had a guitar
Whew.
and a mattress. And I remember it's saddest day, dude. I posted my guitar for sale on Facebook and
Mm,
just to try to get some money. So I sold my guitar,
Wow.
that's
like
tough.
an old Epiphone, and I was heartbroken. Like that was my most prized possession. I had to sell it. I was going to Christian Assembly, a church in town in Marysville, and I had the key. Tammy, my then girlfriend, had a key to the church, for because she was hosting prayer nights. So I would take the key and sneak into the church to go sleep in the prayer room.
Oh, wow.
So I would go to friends' house,
Man.
in their basements. There were times when I stayed at her house, um, and through that whole thing, man, it was a
Mm.
lot of learning, a lot of practicing. I almost went into the military just because I had no idea what else to do. I was kind of in between a rock and if I would have done it, it would have been for the wrong reasons.
Mm.
And because like my heart wasn't in it, I didn't even know what I was doing. I hardly knew any English. It would have, in hindsight, it would probably would have been a disaster, um, for me to be doing that. So, um, in the middle of all this happening, my father-in-law, my not father-in-law at the time, was giving me a lot of crap, like just take any job right now. And I was like, I would take any job if I could find any job right now, but like I can't find anyone that would hire me because my English was so bad. So I decided to like invest into learning English, practice with my now wife, English, and learn that. So I was going to a deco in downtown Marysville to ask for jobs, and
Mm.
they would send me assignments with Weed Man to do
Oh, yeah.
landscaping. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, we're gonna set you up with this guys, and then this is our landscaping company. And finally, I had it one day, and I was like, hey, I know I look the part, like I would be really good at this. I'm not though. I promise you. I was like, I can do more than this. I'm a quick learner, and they started laughing at me. So I got to crack some jokes with them, and they had this one job posted for a really long time that nobody was taking. And I was like, hey, send me on that assignment. Like I can do that.
Mm.
It was like a logistics coordinator job, and it was like a third shift position. I was like, I'll do that. I'll do that in a second. I'll learn it. I can do it. Um, and they told me that I wasn't qualified, that I needed some, at least an associate degree, which at the time, like I had some college education, they just didn't transfer.
Mm. Yeah.
So um, I kept bugging them for about a month for that job. Finally, they took a shot on me. They told me that they would give me an opportunity, but if they fired me because I couldn't do the job, that I could not ask for another job at a deco again. And I was like,
Oh
yeah,
wow.
that's
Like
fine.
you'd be
I'll do it.
done. You were
Yeah,
out then.
yeah. You know what? It wasn't a deco. It was a cloche. It was one of them. One of the temp agency. So they gave me a shot. I talked to somebody from the church that I was going to, who let me borrow this super old Buick, rusted up, but it ran like you could take me from point A to point B. So I moved out of couch surfing to living into this car. So I would go to Tammy's house to take a shower, and I would sleep in my car. Um, and I went to do this job out in Dublin at a company called Pacer Intermodal Logistics. That was the job, and um, within a couple of weeks of doing the job there, the manager came out. I'm getting ready to leave in the morning. The manager comes out and he's like, "Dude, like you're working really hard. You're putting in the effort. We want to offer you the position if you want it." And I was like, "Yes, I want it. I want it now."
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
worked out the finalized the contract with Acloche, and I stayed there for about 7 years. Um, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, long story
Man.
short, I after 7 years of trying to climb up that ladder, trying to make it further and better myself through that business, um, I got to the end of the rope, and they wouldn't give me any more opportunities. I kind of capped myself out, and they just wouldn't. They put me in a position where I was too irreplaceable for them in the position that I was, and the um, schedule that they had me in. So nobody else would take my position. You know, I was it. So finally, because of that was the case, I was like, you know what? I think I got to the point somewhere in between all that. I got into photography, and I was making more money doing photography on the side than I was doing at my actual desk job. So I told them that
Wow.
I was like, I was like, I bet you if I dedicate all my time and effort to this, I can make it work. Um, I got some connections from a local Columbus studio that was interested in my work. They kind of saw me as a up and comer in the industry, and they snatched me up. And I worked with them for 2 years before striking out on my own, and been doing that for 3-ish years now, like doing it on my own.
Yeah. Man,
Kind
that is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So, uh, and you were at one point within 18 months of moving to America, you were a homeless, jobless immigrant.
Yep.
In
Which
Marysville.
there's
Man.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's this thing about a lot of people think like you think of immigrants that are in a rough situation and and they're like, oh, they're coming out and they're taking the resources. I didn't take any of resources. I tried to be honest. Like I went to social services, and
Yeah.
I went to the Salvation Army, and I was turned down every time. Like you have to be a U.S. citizen to take advantage of this resources of this program. So we can't help you if you're gonna have to go find a church that is willing to give you a hand. And uh, I remember walking out of the county building and looking at my then girlfriend, just saying, I'm never gonna take a handout. I'm just not gonna do it.
Mm.
It's like I'm gonna pull myself out of this hole. That where I'm gonna
Yeah.
figure this out, and that
Wow.
was it.
Wow. Wow. So, just thinking about all of the different steps of the journey for you to arrive here. And as a quick aside, one that stands out to me is having to sell your guitar. You
Dude,
you saying
I
that.
found it. I found it
So,
years later
Really?
do you
after,
remember though
and
how much money did you sell it for?
I sold it for $120.
Wow. Right?
Yeah.
Like just to think back that there was a point in your life, right, where $120 was like that was the amount of money that you couldn't
Yep.
see past that much money,
That was
right?
it.
And then to be where you are now, where you're inking deals with Cardell Jones and the like,
Yeah.
Yep.
to work in a studio that you co-own and co-manage with a friend, and I mean that's an amazing story. You
Yeah.
were saying that you were able to find the guitar later.
Yeah, yeah. Several years after all that happened, I was in a better position. I was working at that company, and I tracked down the message. I somehow found the message of the person that I sold it to, and she's like, "Oh, I bought it for my son. He's off to college. I'll try to reach out and see, what he's done with it." And she messaged me back, and she said, "Hey, he's not willing to part with it. He loves it too much." And I was like, "Well, if he's ever willing to part with it, I will pay you double of what I sold it to you for." Because it's like that was the thing that I loved the most,
Mhm.
and I never heard back from. Yeah,
Man.
so couldn't find my guitar again, but yeah.
Well, at least it brought that much joy to somebody else as well, right? It
Yeah,
didn't just
yeah,
like end up
yeah.
sitting in the corner somewhere or getting destroyed.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I keep
Yeah,
hoping to like
cool.
come across a YouTube video and see it. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And
That's
that kid
awesome.
was
That's
Justin
awesome.
Bieber, actually.
Right.
Yeah, for the sake of the story, you should definitely do that. And if somebody ever calls you on it, you just use the line, "Oh, English is my second language. Did I say Justin
Yeah.
Bieber? I didn't mean that.
Yeah,
No."
yeah, yeah. I mean Justice Bieber.
Justice Bieber.
Yeah.
That's
I
I
like it.
take
I
two
like it.
huge things from that story is one, um, I didn't know any of that first and foremost. So like the depth of all of the packs around us and what they've gone through and who they are as people cannot be overstated. And I think you're an awesome example of that. Is you've lived this wild life, and I had no idea, and it's been an absolute pleasure to learn more about it. And then second, just the amount of people within our community that we may not even realize that we can help. Like everyone wants to talk about, going on mission, doing these things, going out of the country, going out of the city, what have you. Like there are people here that we can help, and I think that's
Yeah.
important to realize and consider as well.
Yeah, there's people within your own circle of friends. I think if you
Yeah,
really dig in a little bit deeper with the people that you already know, you may be able to find that you could really make a huge impact in somebody's lives, just by being inquisitive. You know, none like for at least for me when I was going through that, if I talked to somebody, they couldn't guess my situation. Something that my grandma just kind of beat into me is that if I wanted to accomplish something, that I could do it. I just needed to set my do it and never be a victim. Don't be a victim. It's like if you find a wall, just keep climbing. For every I remember getting ready, like talking to her about leaving Nicaragua, coming here, and she said, "Hey, um, don't fall into the trap that people are just mean and racist or a prejudice against you. Don't fall into that belief, because for every person that may be genuinely that may have a genuine prejudice against you, there's 10 more people that are willing to extend you a hand, if you're just honest and you work hard. So that's that. My grandma was massively influential to me in that sense. So that was a huge driving force when I was down and out. Like, don't ever be a victim, and work hard, be friendly, and that's gonna take you farther than any college degree that you could have. Those are things. Work hard and be friendly. That will take you far in life.
Yeah, that is beautiful. That's beautiful. So, Deep Dish, could you tell us a bit about what are some areas in life where you feel like you have been accelerating, areas where you feel like you have been able to lead your family well recently as a
Yeah,
husband, as a father?
yeah, absolutely. Recently, it's funny. Recently, we had the pregnancy care center in Marysville ask me and my wife to share our testimony. So we had the testimony
Yeah,
gallery. I was able to share a little bit with that, with a large audience, which was very intimidating. But 3 years ago, my wife and I, we were not doing too good. Like, we were about to become a statistic, and it was just not good. But the Lord saw us through it, and now we're on the other side. And incidentally enough, through the growth and the change that we experience, and the pain and the process of really examining our marriage and examining our life, um, I found F3. So in the middle of all that, I remember going to my first um, break room meeting. So I went to the break room, and now I'll never forget how, like, where I was sitting. But I remember little John sitting across talking about, you know, our AMs and what they mean to us, why they are the most significant lives. And he said something that really struck me, that first time. He said, when I clock off, when I sign off from work, and I get to go see my wife, she's been at it from the break of dawn until the evening, and doesn't clock off. She said, so at that point, says I make an actual effort to give her a chance to, hey, take 30 minutes. I got it. And that like really put a
Mm.
bug in about
Yeah.
like, hey, like is my wife really the most important person in my life? Is she my most important relationship? And ever since that day, now a year and a half ago, I've seen um, the response that I get from my wife in relation to me just being proactive in taking the role of a father and husband that cares enough to be present, enough to allow her to have time to be, Tammy and not be mom,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to be Tammy and not be wife.
Uh-huh.
So because I've been able to be more present and make more meaningful time to spend with her and to spend with my children, I can see the response that I get now from her, where she's um, more respectful of me and my time, and talks to her children in a way that is honoring to me and honoring to our marriage, and my children are now being raised to see like, hey, your dad works really hard. When he gets home, he wants to spend time with you. These are things that you shouldn't take for granted. So those are things where I'm seeing that like active
Yeah.
change has affected my home life.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah. 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 That is very cool. It makes me, I mean, I couldn't agree more, Deep Dish, that when I think it was VP first showed all of the packs probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, that F3 Concentrica, and the idea that your your wife, is the most important relationship in your life, and that is at the center, that is the center target of your life energy, of your direction. It was like, huh.
Yeah,
And I know for me, man, like it was because at that point I had agreed with so much of what F3 stood for and was doing and represented and believed. And then there was this part where I was like, but I'm not so sure about that. That at the middle, like that has to be the most important thing. And so for 6 months or so, I tried to just try it, like just do it, just act as though, like try to begin being that type of husband and father. And to what you're saying, it's unbelievable how that begins to transform the relationship with your and with your kids, and it changes the way you show up at home. So I couldn't
yeah,
echo that anymore, man.
I think it goes hand in hand with doing hard things too. Is that mentality? You start to realize, oh, the hard things also getting up in the middle of the night for my wife, or doing these things on her behalf so she has free time to like relax a little bit. Um, and I think just being more open to doing difficult things all of a sudden makes you more willing to take burdens on your shoulders to benefit your wife, and then just more benefit that relationship in general too.
yeah, yeah. That was a big thing for me, and something that she even like through the process, she also encouraged me. Like she gave me pushback. She gave me pointers. She would say, right. So she's like, hey, you can get up in the morning and go work out in the freezing cold with a whole bunch of dudes in the middle of the dark. I said, but you can take one day of the week to get up and have coffee with me. And I was like, okay, yeah, that
That
hurts.
hit hard.
Um, yeah, that hit hard. And I remember before all this, like before F3, before actual leadership change in my life, and the refocusing of my heart and mind to God and service to others and my family, kids. Um, my wife telling me like struggling with her, like fighting, having this constant fight where I was like, hey, I'm trying to be here for you. I'm trying to be here for the kids. I want to lead you, but I was not living right. So she looked at me square in the eyes and said, like, you're not a person worth following. Why would I want you to lead me? And I was like, oof, okay. That was a gut check for me. I was like, okay, something's got to change. Something's got to give. And incredibly blessed that all these kind of things kind of coincided around the time when I found F3. So that was huge.
Yeah, I was trying to find a pen there to jot this down, but I'll just give it as a suggestion now, as a spur right now. I mean, that question right there, man, that's a heavy one. And
Mhm.
so, what I would encourage any guys listening to this to do right now would be to go ask your M that question. Like, am I a husband worth following? Right? Am I displaying something that you want to follow? Am I inspiring trust
Yeah.
and faith? I mean, do you believe in my ability to lead this family? And to ask that question with genuine curiosity, right? And an actual openness to hear the answer. And if that answer is no, for you to be compelled to use that to move forward, to find another man who can mentor you, to connect with some other men who are accelerating in their life. I know Deep Dish that you're going through a book by Bodhi
Yeah,
Buckman with
Bodie Buckham.
guys
Yeah,
right now, actually.
yeah. Family shepherding. We're going through it with yeah, with Comprende and Goosebump, and I have several copies. So I've just been handing it to Man in the Packs because that book was massively influential for me and the change that I made in my life and how I could.
Yeah. I've got that book myself and plan to begin reading it. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you have a wife, you have an M, take that bold, courageous next step and ask her, how am I doing as a leader? Am I a leader worth following? So with that idea in mind, we're going to kind of wrap this up a little bit here, Deep Dish. I want to ask you a bit about. We've talked about where you've come from, where you are now, areas that you're accelerating, and really taking ownership as a husband, as a father. What are some areas where you're still working? I think we benefit when we understand that those that are sharpening us are being sharpened
Yeah.
as well. So, what are areas in life right now where you're trying to be sharpened?
Um, Definitely the accountability and the discipline. So my accountability group has grown significantly now with F3 and growing closer with members of the packs. Staying late for cafeteria after workouts have been huge to being able to like just share where I am when life and just hear feedback from the packs, which has reveal and catalyze a change in my life in the areas that I know I need to work, and that is discipline. It's been getting better in my life since, getting up in the morning and showing up to the workouts, and if you HC, if showing up and rise to that challenge of just getting out and doing something hard in the morning. And I started seeing the benefits of that discipline in my life simply um, by just talking to the other men in the group. So, something that I want to be better at, that I'm challenged by, is discipline, not only in showing up for the workouts, not only on the fitness aspect of it, but on the fellowship aspects. So, be disciplined to be reaching out to other people and have meaningful conversations, hard conversations, ask hard questions, and be disciplined in my faith, and then everything else that follows. So, finances, leadership, time. There's like all those things. Just discipline through it all in my life. Yeah. That's something that I know I've struggled with for a long time, and F3 has made me better for. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, very much so. Very much so. Discipline and accountability. I think
Hmm.
there's some quote out there, something like, um, what is it? Excellence is a habit. It's like the idea that success is built very little on talent, right? But
Yep.
built on the shoulders of those that are disciplined, who show up and do the hard work every day. And
Yeah.
on behalf of the men of the union, you've been doing that.
Hmm.
Been doing that in
Thanks.
many ways, at the workouts, at cafeterias, at the break room, and certainly in your family as well. So we are certainly made better by knowing you, made better by you being a part of us.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Amen.
Appreciate that, guys.
Yeah. So before we get into our uh, our, our, our draft segment this month, do you have Deep Dish? Do you have any final words of wisdom? If you could tell all the guys out in the union one piece of information, one suggestion, one idea, what would that be?
Work hard and be friendly. is going to take you really far in life. And whatever you set your heart and mind to, you can accomplish. But work hard and be friendly. That's my grandma right there. So yeah,
Yeah, work hard and be friendly. Says, what do you? How do you say grandma in Spanish?
abuela.
Abuela. All right.
Yep.
Abuela says, work hard, be friendly.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. All right. Well, let me really quickly, since you're the hymn of the month, and we're talking about you, I'm I'm pretty sure that my very first interaction with you or awareness of you, you made a video for your soccer team one season,
Yeah, that's right.
and the director of the league sent that out, or I saw that somewhere. So I see this video of you.
And you're probably like, this freaking show off.
I absolutely was, and I was like, well, what's his name? What agency coaching? I was like, we're in the same division,
Yeah,
Oh
dude.
and
man.
so I knew that I had my work cut out for me when we would come up head to head. And so here comes my team. We are undefeated. I think we're 6 or 7-0 on
Yeah,
the season, and we come face to face with the
we
team
were
of
the
Deep
last
Dish.
game. Last game.
It was, yeah, because it got dark early, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the last game, and I believe, if I'm wrong, correct me, we tied. Correct?
We tied. Yep.
We tied. So you single-handedly destroyed my perfect season.
Yeah, you single-handedly destroyed my perfect season. We had we were undefeated also.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think I
Yeah,
smell a
yeah.
rematch.
Oh man, oh
Yo,
man.
he beat me the following season, like handsomely,
Oh,
both
well, there
times.
it is.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, I
So
lost.
humble.
I lost four of my players that actually had played soccer before the previous on that season. I was like, well, this season was gonna be fun.
They got drafted.
So,
Yeah,
Yep.
and for those wondering, this was 7 and 8-year-old soccer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. All right, all right. So the real reason we have you here today, Deep Dish,
The real reason, got
The,
it.
the connoisseur
is
himself.
we are prepared to do a draft of best local pizzas in Marysville, Ohio. So if you're
Draft the
unaware,
best local. Okay.
here is how the draft will work. It'll be a snake style draft. So
Okay.
Deep Dish, as the hymn of the month, our interviewee, you will have the first selection, and we will each get 2 pizza joints. So we'll go Deep Dish, Jenna to me. I'll go again, and then we'll go
Hmm.
back to Jenna, back to you. So you'll get first pick and last pick of the draft.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna
So,
go
say you.
pick. First pick. I'm gonna have to go with Benny's. Marysville staple.
Mm,
Yeah, that's my pick. Benny's.
Safe choice. Safe choice for sure.
Safe choice. Yep.
can't go wrong there.
Yep.
Oh, is it my turn now? Am I number 2?
You're number
Mhm.
2.
Oh man. Trying to think. I'm just gonna go with what's coming off the cuff, and that's Buckeye Family Pizzeria.
Mm.
A little Marysville lore for everybody. The originators of Benny's actually then went on to Buckeye Family Pizzeria. So that is the true OG Benny's recipe over there. For those who did not know.
Oh wow. Okay.
Is it really? I mean, they are remarkably comparable pizzas.
Very similar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I've noticed is that Buckeye, they do some sort of Italian seasoning on top after the pie, I suspect, has even been baked. It comes out and they do something on top of that that really, for me, pushes it over the edge on Benny's.
The sausage on it too is top tier, and I always get sausage pizza. So I got a shout for my boys here.
All right, that's
Nice.
good. That's good. So what I'm curious though about here is Deep Dish and Jenna, you've both chosen local pizza shops who also follow the same pattern of offering you something while you wait.
Oh, that's true. Yep, the
Mhm.
So
popcorn
we've got
man.
at Benny's that are given the soft serve ice
The
cream.
little soft serve ice cream. Yep.
Wait,
And
Benny's has soft serve ice cream?
Yes,
oh,
sir.
yeah,
Yes, it does. Yep.
What?
Yeah, you have to go to the carryout building.
Oh my
I was I, was- I
gosh.
was I was there 2 hours ago, literally. My 4-year-old and
Dude,
I
that's
getting
such
some
a big hit
soft
for kids. You go with your kids, self-serve ice. Yeah, win-win.
I've never done. I well, the only time I did carry out, I was in my car because it was COVID. So this is complete news to me and a game changer for that matter.
Oh yeah, soft serve ice cream in the carryout building, and then Buckeye though they'll give you popcorn.
Hmm. I mean, Benny's gives you popcorn too, just when you're in the building. You know,
Mm.
in the non-carry out, we'll call it.
Okay, all right. So I'm picks 3 and 4, and I'm honestly feeling remarkably confident about winning this draft with these next two picks. Um, Pick number 3 for me could be number one pick. It's going to be Ramsey's. Ramsey's Pizza, if you have not had it, is top notch,
It's good.
top tier,
It's good.
A1. There's a drive-through there as well. Outdoor seating, not nearly as busy as Benny's. Their drive-through has what's it called? Ice Pop Prime, which my kids are a huge fan of. Kids are happy. I'm happy. Ramsey's Pizza would be my first pick all day. Um,
Man,
I'm going to sneak it back through and go with the new kid on the block. I'm pretty confident of the name here. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. I believe it's Giovanni's.
yep,
Dang it.
Giovanni's
they
Pizza.
were on my radar for sure.
Yeah, they
Right
were on my
across
radar. Yeah.
walking distance. You get some brew. You get some pizza. Match made in F3 heaven. So I'm going Ramsey's, Giovanni's. Feeling pretty strong about that.
Are we on to pizza chain restaurants yet?
I mean,
I
you
think
do
we have a
what you have
choice.
to do. Just know that we'll judge you.
Okay. Oh, it is back to me, isn't it?
Yep.
Um,
Have you actually done a snake draft before?
I
Because
have.
I'm
I just I get
equally as confused.
I get so interested in the other person's answer that I'm not thinking about mine at all. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's good, and then I just sit there in silence. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it's my turn now,
It's you.
huh? In honor of Deep Dish and his origin story, I'm picking Pizza Hut, and I have no regrets about it. No, if I had to actually pick though, I'd probably pick a local place to do like the pizza at Leon's.
Mm,
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've only had it a couple times, but I liked it.
they're not bad. They are not bad. Which is I guess rough when we're talking about a draft here to go with a place that is not bad. So congratulations on picking a not bad place.
I got pretty
Uh,
good and not bad.
yeah. Does is Jet open yet? Jet's open in
Not
Marysville
yet,
yet?
not yet.
So that doesn't count. I can't just pick Jets.
Don't
I
think
feel
so.
like you would come under further
Man.
scrutiny though if you picked a chain.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. Well, yeah. I'm gonna pick a chain anyways, because I mean, what other option do I have? I don't even have.
Yeah, well, I don't even know what's
Um,
left.
yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna get roasted for this. This is gonna be bad. I'm going with Donato's.
Okay, you picked the best chain. To be fair,
The
Yeah.
best chain,
Yeah.
Donato's. Yeah, that margarita pizza is my jam, bro.
well, they do the
The chicken
Nash.
mariachi.
They do the Nashville hot chicken with
Oh yeah.
the pickles. Oh my lord. Yeah, take me away. It's good.
There you
Um
go.
Good
That's my pick.
choices there.
did anyone have you all been around for when they had a pizza place out front of Mill Valley? It was Fratelli's Pizza.
Mm-mm.
I was not.
It was like some old little Italian angry man. And my buddy that I grew up with, he worked there, and he was like apparently like skimped paychecks and stuff, but it's like very small and like just a crazy place to work for a first job. Um, their pizza was okay, so all that to say, I miss that place just being in existence.
Hmm. Well, shout out, pour one out for them,
Pour one out for Fratelli's.
pour one out
Pour
for
one out for
Kelly's.
Fratelli's.
Also,
Um,
Monarch Pizza. It's deceased now as well.
so some along those lines, some notable, it was a notable undrafted free agent, Tubby's Pizza.
No, get out of
Tubby's
here,
Pizza.
Tubby's.
But
Come
yeah,
on.
you know what? What about the OP Grill? The OP Grill has
Other place,
he's in
yeah.
Stromboli.
They are dead now. They're closed.
Oh, they're closed.
I'm
Oh,
surprised they
bummer.
made it this long. I'm gonna be honest.
They are closed, which yeah, again is unsurprising. They're closed, given that they didn't
They-
even make top 6.
They were down the road from
Mhm.
Benny's. Like
And
you
no
could
one knew
walk
what it
to
was.
them. Yeah. Well, it's the other place, of course.
Obviously, I mean, which I respect them leaning into.
Yeah,
We're
like
not Benny's.
we're the second choice. We get
We're
it.
that other
Yeah.
pizza place. And having named themselves actually the other pizza place and not the
Yeah.
OP, it may have had
Yeah.
at that point.
My number 3
They
pick.
should have named them. They should have named themselves Pizzas near Marysville. That would have killed the SEO game. They would have gotten all the business.
Oh yeah, that's true. My number 3 pick is a frozen pizza from Kroger. Always.
What brand?
Any.
God.
No, first and foremost is probably Red Baron. And then, I give it up for DiGiorno. I like the standard Kroger brand pizza. But this is the thing. Pizza's my favorite food to the point where I have no shame about there's no lower end for the quality that I will eat. I will eat gladly a Totino pizza, and I do not
Have
care.
you had Frechetta's pizza? Frechetta's frozen pizza?
I don't believe so. Is it amazing?
It's pretty good. It's pretty it might be better than that. Yeah, it's really good. That's my favorite frozen pizza. Yeah.
That's on my list now. We're getting it.
All right. First up, you want to do Crossfire first because
Yeah, we have a very hot topic to discuss.
yeah, we do. And Deep Dish is lucky that he didn't get sucked into having to moderate this. But whoever the next hymn of the month is should prepare themselves to have to be just stuck in the middle of this.
Of the Crossfire.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna lead this off with a strong proposition. And Jenna, you do your best to refute this idea.
Well, okay, hold on. Let me explain to everyone what's happening. Is we now have an ongoing segment called Crossfire, as you may have gathered, where Shrink will bring forward a topic, and I will always vehemently take the antithesis of it and argue to the bitter end. This one, I believe I might actually just have a dog in the fight, but I'm leaving space. I'm leaving space for future content as well here. So yeah, back to you, Shrink.
All right. Now, if you missed that there, Jenna, I added some sound effects, so be sure in the
my
post
God.
that
Yeah.
whenever we say Crossfire, we need some gunfire going on.
You want old timey cowboy Crossfire or like? I might just clip that audio.
All right, so here's my first. This isn't a hot take. This is just the way things ought to be. Here's what I'm over. All right, here's what really grinds my gears. Okay, is I'm at a workout at the factory, at the farm, at the floor. I'm at a workout where we're gonna be on the ground doing things like Merkins, maybe some burpees, maybe mountain climbers. And as I'm going down to burpee, what do I see right at my eye level now? Somebody else's loogie, because they chose to spit where they knew we would be working out still. So here is my opening proposition. You should only spit in grassy areas and or areas you know we will not be using to exercise in during a workout.
Man, I almost was agreeing with you. Well, I was almost immediately disagreeing with you when you said grassy areas only. That's crazy. You know how far away grassy areas can be at times?
Oh, I'm open to just an area to the side, just to the near a curb towards the edge.
Okay. I would position that you should be able to spit in your immediate box at the very least. That's on you, man. If you want to roll around in your spit, then you live your life, brother.
But you have no guarantee that you're going to be in that same box the whole workout. You don't know who might have that box after you.
Yeah, but
What
if
about
I walk
me?
if I walk 50 feet to the left and spit over there, there's no guarantee that we're not going to go over there.
You can just walk 12 feet behind you. I'm cool with that. Just not right where you know we're going to be coming right back here on the next lap. If we're
Um,
doing out and backs and we're running suicides and at the starting line we got to do Merkins and you get to the starting line, get
yeah,
out of
that's
here.
when you need it most, though. I mean, okay, think about it. You just did it down and back. You're gassed. You're dying. Do you?
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, do you yourself spit?
Yes,
Where do you
I'm
spit?
there. I walk away from the immediate vicinity to have a spit unless I'm running. If I'm running, I ensure no one's behind me as I angle my spit away from the group as we're moving. So now the spit, I am using force to move the spit away while we're running in the opposite direction, doubling the distance between the spit and us.
If you had an approximated number of spits per workout that you had to utilize, what's your best guess?
Oh, 8 easy.
Eight, eight. That's a good number. I feel
8.
like for me, the number does not. It's like infinity. You know, the limit does not exist.
Mm.
Um, so to that end, I will say it's difficult because on one hand, I do agree with you. Other people should not be disposed to my spit on the ground.
They shouldn't be.
I also need to find a middle ground of not having to walk 50 feet each time.
Mm.
Maybe I bring a bucket with me.
Every everyone must bring their own spit
Just
bucket
bring your spit
to the workout.
buckets. I will say that I have maybe not mastered, but gotten better at the smear. So
Oh, where's this going? Where
if
is
I
this going?
know a hoodie's
Oh
going into the
no!
wash, it goes on the hoodie.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Sorry, Maggie.
Are you telling me you'll be mid workout and need to spit and you just give it a into the
Well,
sleeve?
it's usually glove and then onto the chest or something.
Spit or
Yeah,
just a little snot bubble?
it could be both. There's
Oh
no
my!
rules. The key to all of this is if we're working out together, don't touch me because I'm
Oh boy!
disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good that we do knuckles afterwards and we don't do
Yeah.
straight fives.
Maybe there's a reason I'm always sick. I'm kind of impressed more people around me aren't.
You're telling me when we do ball of man, you're just putting that hand right on somebody's shoulder
Well, to
and
be
it's
fair,
just
it's not
all
every
up
time.
in it.
If we're so okay, here's the other thing. If we're running, normally the reason I'm spitting is because I have a loogie, anyways.
Correct. Yeah.
I've gotten proficient at the hillbilly hanky on the run.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Are you going one nostril closed?
100%. Yeah.
Oh yeah. One nostril closed, not rocket out. Oh yeah.
I think actually, so I did some running yesterday. I think that's the only thing that got my nose cleared from being sick is just running and being
Oh,
miserable and having it slowly like fall out of my
oh wow.
face. Yeah.
All right. So we may have just found a Gen A life hack.
Yeah, the hillbilly hanky.
If
Um
you're sick, go run 5 miles and they'll just clear out your constipation slash congestion real fast.
yeah, I had a cap on and I was getting kind of warm and I was like, "You know what? I'm just going to stay warm. I'm not even going to take the cap off." And I might have cooked the virus out of me.
You
Um
did it.
it's a little bit of bro science there.
Yeah.
Um
If it works though.
oh, it works. It
You,
works
you
just
can't
fine.
refute you can't refute anecdotal evidence. It's your truth.
It's a double blind study in that I didn't realize what I was doing at the time and I did great.
You
So
nailed it. For the packs listening, feel free to let us know who won Crossfire.
I mean, I just kind of conceded to your side.
Because obviously
I mean,
you've been
I
a
can't,
really
I can't just sit here and be like, yeah, spit on people. That's fine. You know, like I will say, you got to spit. Spitting's an inevitability, and it's a necessity in a lot of times. But I think we could all benefit from being more conscious about where we spit. Um, as in, we should only spit in shrink square. Good night.
and that's when strength left F3.
I had to leave because the spit.
Man, what? I thought I heard you were really into F3. What happened? Well, they all started spitting in my square.
It just
So,
got weird, man. I had to go. It was getting too weird.
uh, all right. What do we have up for Slack Happy today?
Slack happy, man. Let me tell you, the PAX of the Union went hard on Thanksgiving. Um, where the heck is our Good Eats channel? God bless it.
Man,
Good
there's always
Eats.
good stuff on there.
We got VP fried up a turkey. Lil John, I have to say, this your smoked turkey. I'm sure it was delicious. It looked burned, man.
Real burnt.
Like real talk, bro. Again,
For those who may have missed it.
again, I'm sure it was delicious, but it looked a little burned. On the your plating was good. On the plate it looked good, and then Chenard's had a beautiful smoked turkey. It seemed as well. I mean, this is the time for Good Eats to thrive, really, with Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah. I mean, as long, of course, as you aren't showing or spreading pictures of any vegetables, as long as you avoid doing that.
No, LJ's
Certainly,
back on the veggie train. Can't give him the
certainly,
business anymore.
certainly soy. No soy allowed on Good Eats.
I'm not touching the soy argument.
LJ though, I refrained from making any comment about the charredness of your turkey because you ate some green beans
Yeah.
as well, and so I was just gonna let that one slide. Jenny brought it up. That turkey was real real dark skinned.
Oh, we got a throwback to October here. You had yours truly rocking the banana costume with
Mm.
Shrink dressed as a gorilla. Um, and then we had Soccer Mom dressed in his finest Elvis garb without the hair, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. And then we let Uniball be in the picture because he was quote unquote Wim Hof when all he did was just show up with a cutoff, which he was probably going to wear anyways. But
Oh, 100% he'd be wearing that anyway.
that was a fun time.
I think we wore it well though.
For sure, for sure. Especially with that giant bag. Um, that was a heck of a beatdown.
Oh, that was that terrible workout.
You had to
The
carry the
terrible
bag.
one.
That was
I
tough.
can't find a picture from it. No, that was the workout where I went first, having to carry this huge. How much did it weigh? Like 900 pounds? Is that
I
what
think
it
it was,
was?
yeah, probably like 900.
550 maybe?
Yeah, at
Yeah,
least.
it was like easily 550. And Lil John is just like, all right, you're gonna be the timer carrying this bag. You gotta carry it 100 yards out and back. Actually, I think it was like probably even more than that. It might have been like a mile out and back. So he had to carry this bag though, and so I'm like, I'll go first because obviously I'm overly confident. And so I bent down to pick up this bag. And like, I, I think I just bent down and laughed. Going anywhere. Like, this bag is going to begin and end the workout right here.
you
And
were
so,
uh, you were ready for a change in that moment. You're like the beatdown's gonna have to be adjusted. I don't know what to tell you.
audible. Come on, coach, give me the new call, please. Like, where are we going now? So eventually, LJ encourages me enough, and by encourage I mean shames me enough to pick it up. And so I get it like up enough that it's maybe like on my chest, even not over my shoulder. It's like I'm like trying to hold this thing. I get like 20 steps out. Guys, I'm going down. I'm going down. And so I think you come over, right?
Oh, yeah, I was trying.
You come running to save me. And so we like two man hold, hug, carry this bag out and back. We get the bag back, and I'm like, obviously everyone saw that this cannot be done by one person, so we're gonna go ahead and like change the workout now. And then who was next? Was it you, Knievel?
Man, it. I don't know that it was me. I think it was Knievel. I remember Knievel making it look like it was a bag for like small children or something.
He sure did. He sure did. And then the rest of you proceeded to pick that bag up as though it were a small child. and just carry it down. I think someone may have leapt down with it, and I felt inferior for an entire hour of my life. So that was a good time.
It was a good time. It was a good beatdown. And we all looked like idiots doing it, so that's even
That we
better.
did. Where
Um,
is correct.
there's a beautiful video of me getting completely posterized by Deuce at the flag football game. Um, we both went to the ground, and he came up with the ball. So if you
Cool.
want to see two 30-year-old men slowly falling, go
Because
watch that
it's slow
video.
motion, right?
It's in slow motion, so it's even slower than it was in real life.
It sure is. It sure is.
Uh,
And if you've not been out to a game day at the plant, get out to one because good things happen there.
and then the last one I'll talk about was it was actually more of a social media post on Facebook, but I know the factory had 17 hard commits on that rainy day,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like they all showed up and had an awesome time and got wet and cold. I wanted to make sure we got an honorary mention to Lucky Charms, who ran a crazy beatdown that day as well.
Mm.
He just showed up with that dog in him and put everyone to work. And I wasn't feeling good that day, but I was like, you know what? Whatever he says, we're doing. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna gripe about it. I'm here to work out with this group of guys, and it's already raining on me, so here we are. And man, it was I think VP had mentioned that all of the most memorable beatdowns happen when it's raining, and
Oh yeah.
it kind of helped me reframe things. Is when you see rain on the calendar, that's not something to avoid. That's a small, uh, momentary opportunity that you have to experience something like that, um, because it happens surprisingly infrequent, I would say. So I would
Surprisingly, yeah,
challenge,
yeah.
yeah,
And
when you see that weather is either cold, snowy, wet, what have you, something out of the norm, understand that that's an awesome opportunity to have a great experience and memory at that beat down. It's going to be something you always remember. So just keep that in mind, I would say.
100%, yeah. Chance to do something right, harder than usual, to overcome something that we face every day that we become accustomed to being hard. Right? It's like, oh no, it's wet. I'm gonna get wet. I can't be outside now. And the moment that you like, get over the mental block of working out in the rain, it's like, oh yeah, this is awesome.
I have a pro tip too. If it's raining or wet or what have you in your queue, just have them do foxholes immediately. Just have them do it immediately because
Oh yeah,
everyone's gonna go. I don't want to get wet. They're gonna like try to do burpees without going on the ground. They're gonna play the little game. Just get them wet immediately, and I guarantee you, someone's gonna complain. But 5 minutes later, everyone's gonna be in it together, having a great time.
oh yeah. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Those are some excellent Slack happy takeaways from the past month, Big J.
We just have some awesome posts from all of the awesome packs in the union, man. This thing runs itself. Just a lot of good dudes out here.
I love them. I love them. Awesome, man.
That ends our segment of Slack Happy for this month.
All right. That is a wrap on episode number 2 of State of the Union. Thank you guys all for being a part of this. Thank you for listening. Looking forward to seeing you all in the gloom again soon. And remember, always be accelerating.
Boom.
Boom. Shakalaka.
All right, guys. Have fun.
See you, bro.
See
Yeah.
ya.